this is it's not only was it amazing to watch, I mean, have you had a chance to see it?
I have had a chance to see it, yeah. A couple of weeks ago, me and my mum went to Dublin and watched the film, and I really, really enjoyed it.
I mean, were you blown away by it?
Yeah.
I mean, even though you knew
I knew the film,
process?
but like it's hit me very powerfully because it's, even though it is a kids film, it is quite a sort of, it pulls at your heartstrings. You know what I mean? It's a very emotional and powerful film.
Yeah, I think it actually transcends just being a kids movie.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Oh yeah, I think it's absolutely for adults as well. You know what I mean? I'd gladly go and see it again.
Yeah. How did you tap into Kubo?
Tapping into Kubo at the start was a little bit difficult because I'd never taken on an animated character before, and I had to learn how to put all my emotion and how to work with the tones of my voice and the depths and the heights of my voice and put all that into my voice and then put all that into Kubo as a character.
Yeah, so what did you do? What were some of the things that...
It was just sort of working with my mum and working with Travis, you know, because they're always so helpful, and they always told me, you know, like, help me out with maybe I was pronouncing something wrong the way Americans wouldn't pronounce something. And yeah, it was just, they always helped me.
You had to do an American accent, too.
I had to do an American accent, yeah.
Was that your first time having to do...
I'd done auditions and stuff with American accents before, but it was the first actual project I'd done with an American accent, yeah.
And he's such a, I mean, what was it about this myth, this story that Travis created that kind of spoke to you?
I think it was, originally, as soon as I started reading the script, the way Kubo looked after his mother and the relationship he had with his mother was very important to me because I'm very close with my mother. And also,
even though she pushes your hair.
Even though she pushes my hair all the time, but also the fact that he's a storyteller, that's very important to me because he brings his characters to life through his shamisen and through origami, and I like to think that I bring my characters to life through, as an actor, through the emotions I use and the tones of my voice and things like that and the expressions I have.
Yeah. Is there a family story that you get to tell that's a classic for you? It's like my uncle one time when we were...
Not really in relation to the film at all, really. But I'd say the most relatable family story, and I've been talking about it a bit today, is to do with the origami.
Yeah.
My dad's Irish, all his family's Irish, but he grew up in London, so that's where his dad worked. But yeah, he used to get the bus home, and he used to take the bus tickets and turn them into little cranes, and then leave them on the seats for people.
Really?
Yeah.
Your dad can do that?
Yeah.
That's really hard to do. Have you ever tried it?
I have, and I was terrible at it, so I never tried it again.
It's a shite you couldn't get it done.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can't even make a paper airplane. I was never able to do that. And
I could. We did a thick class the other day, and it was like a DOS class because our teacher was sick or something, and it was we were doing air or something like that in science, and it was paper airplanes, and it was the furthest we could go, and mine went the shortest distance, so I was the worst at it. But yeah.
I love the whole myth kind of aspect.
Oh
of this.
yeah.
Growing up with me, I had an older sister, and she loved Greek mythology. So she was always telling me stories from the Greek mythology. Yeah. Do you have like a story of mythology that you really love?
Whenever I was growing up, it was like, I don't really remember a lot of the stories, but my mum tells me all the time that whenever my brothers were younger and whenever I was a baby, she used to read us a lot of Artemis Fowl.
Oh, okay.
So, because they were sort of Irish tales, you know what I mean? So she used to read us a lot of that.
And you remember that?
I remember some of it, but not too clearly.
Do you know much about Japanese culture? Are you...
Yeah. Well, for me, it's very important to embrace the character and bring it to life.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I took on the role, I did a lot of research on the Japanese culture. And to do that, I looked up about every aspect of it, really. Well, every aspect that was in relation to Kubo, from the armor and the helmets, the kabuto, which is what the helmets are called, and the kimonos and the different folds of the kimonos and how that represents different things, and the different color represents different things and things like that.
So your mother's character in the film, she's wearing a kimono. Does it symbolize something in the film?
I'm not too sure. You'd have to talk about Debbie to talk to Debbie, but I did a little bit. I was just researching, general research, just to get a real grasp of it, so that I could incorporate that into my character.
Do you want to go to Japan now?
I do want to go to Japan now, yeah.
You need to go to Japan.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Of course, I'm going to switch gears here for a second, just because I literally just finished Game of Thrones.
All right. Yeah.
It's like this giant void in my life. I mean, how has this show kind of changed your life?
Yeah, I think it was very helpful in the aspect that, you know, I was never too much of a prominent character, so I was able to take on other characters and things like Dracula Untold and San Andreas without too much collision.
Right.
And I think it was very helpful to get me off my feet and get me into the industry.
Yeah, well, it was very sad though. I mean, if you had some fans come up to you and go, "Oh my God."
Yeah, there's a couple of people that have been a little bit upset, but yeah.
A little bit upset.
A little bit upset.
Well, I have to say that my husband and I were watching it, you know, and Ramsey lets you go, and you start to run, and we're like, "Serpentine, do this, do this."
But then I was talking about this earlier, and I think the way that, like, if you think about it, he was always going to have to go to the horse anyway.
Right.
So at the end,
he would have
been in the one spot anyway. So zigzagging and things like that, it wouldn't really have made a difference.
I don't know. I'm just so happy Ramsey got what he got.
Got what he deserved. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the best. So now that you're kind of not on the show anymore, I'm just curious. What do you think? Who do you think's gonna finally end up on the Iron Throne?
I'd like to see. I haven't finished it yet. I'm only on season 3. But I'd like to see.
I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I know you gotta get into it.
Exactly. But I've seen the sort of connections that the thing Game of Thrones released the other day, where it's like Rhaegar is Jon Snow's father or something like that. So I'd like to see some sort of collaboration between Jon Snow and Daenerys, and then for them to take the throne.
Yeah.
I think that would be very cool.
I think so. I think Jon actually will stay in the North.
Do you think?
Yes, I do. I think he's gonna stay in the North.
I think he'll sort of let her deal with it. And it'll be like, this is my North, you know what I mean? These are my wildlings.
Well, we're going to miss you on the show, too, even though, you weren't on it a ton.
Yeah.
And you kind of grew up, too, because you were a little kid.
And I left, and then by the time I'd come back, I was a little bit taller. But
yeah, we were a little bit, they were like, hey, he's all grown up.
Yeah.
It's like Bran, too, your brother.
Exactly. He left for a season, and he... Like, I didn't actually see...
Are you good friends with Isaac?
Yeah, I'm good friends with Isaac, but I haven't seen him in a couple of years now. And but I was talking to a couple of the drivers, and they were saying like they could not get over it in the time space of a year. He just sort of flew up.
You all do that. You grow up.
You grow up.
Happens.
Part of life.
Well, thank you very much.
Yeah,
It was a
pleasure
meeting you.